Hello everyone and welcome back to another Space Engineers show thing. Today we're going to be starting a longer series. Longer, I mean a series, not just a single episode. Anyway, we're going to be building a small ship going wild, or a small large ship, or whatever you want to call it. Basically a small ship, or a ship made out of small blocks in Space Engineers. And we're going to be building a larger ship with it. Instead of using large blocks like normal people, we're going to be trying to squeeze out every ounce of detail that we can. I did make this engine, and that's what kind of inspired me to build this. I'm just kind of throwing blocks together. What we're actually going to do with this engine, as I already did because the video is sped up, was disable one of the engines because I really wanted the shape of the engine itself, like the actual ion thruster, but I couldn't get it airtight and to be functional. So what I did is instead I just disabled the thruster that I had and put another ion thruster in front of it, so the thruster in the middle won't destroy everything else, and the thruster on the back will be the one that actually gives out thrust. The purpose of this ship is not known yet. I don't know what the purpose is. It will have a kind of large cargo bay. It'll be semi-distant. It'll be asymmetrical. That's basically all I know. There's not a lot of stuff that I've pre-planned. This is mostly just a kind of build as you go kind of thing. My brain is gravitating a lot towards the Mercury Star Runner from Star Citizen. That's kind of where my brain's kind of sat at with the asymmetrical design. That'll come out a lot when we do the front end. For the back end, I kind of just had a thought and just kind of went with it, which was at the top the ship's gonna kind of be split in half. There'll be the mid deck, and then there'll be scaffolding above that, or half floors above that, and there'll be a lower deck, which won't be a full deck, obviously, because it's going to be kind of short in the middle. So it'll be like two trapezoids, I think trapezoids. One on top of the other, and the bottom one is flipped upside down. The top one should have a sharper angle, or be a bit wider, not necessarily a sharper angle. And that's kind of what we go with the back, kind of like a diamond with the bottom point cut off, if that makes any sense. You'll see in a second. So we did these two engines pointing inward on either side for the top, and we're gonna have on the bottom these engines in the middle, so 4 engines in the middle in a V shape pointing outwards. And I really like this design. I don't know why, I just do. That's kind of what this is just kind of do shipbuilding stuff. But I wanted to definitely make a series for it, because I've never built anything this big and completed it. I've always started builds like these. I did want to make sure that it was an odd number width-wise. I haven't made that, haven't made sure of that length-wise yet, but we'll probably find some time to do that. I did also kind of play around with how far the thrusters hang down. This is obviously not final. All of this is very conceptual. We're just kind of building a framework to get started somewhere on it, and this is what we actually go with, and then make very weird lines to try and connect everything into some sort of back-end shape. There's a lot of detailing to go on the back. It's not just gonna be a flat plane at all, because it's just not happy. It looks kind of like a boat currently with that weird curve in the bottom angle. It will be a sharper angle when we're done, because I really want it to be kind of a purposed angle ship. I don't know what that means, but I guess I'm thinking like the 90s cars that were all basically just flat edges. I don't know if that makes any sense to anybody, because there weren't any cars that were very bubbly, but anyway, that's kind of what's in my head. Very angular for no good reason. I mean, space. I don't need to make it aerodynamic, so make it angles, just all weird angles. Anyway, so we're working on the mid floor, and I wanted the engines to have this kind of cohesive room to them. So there'll be 2 to 4 engine rooms. There'll be either one on either side of the cargo bay on the mid floor, and 2 in the bottom floor. Or there'll be one for either side, and I wanted to have that area to see down into the sides, so it'd be a cohesive space. So if you were to use a airtight checker, it would technically be the same space. So basically the same volume of air, if that makes any sense to anyone. Right now I'm doing a bit of work to get a panel that's not a full panel. So that's why I have these landing gear things. I have blocks that have ground down that I can go over and use the copy paste to copy the framework instead of using like making the blocks and grinding them all. I just copy the block from this one I've ground down already, and I can just Control V as many times as I need to place all the blocks. I try and do some of the catwalk stuff for the second tier of thruster on the two top slants. I haven't named anything. It's kind of just very vague. Kind of, this is a thruster on top of the other thruster around the middle. So I ended up trying to make my own staircase, and that didn't go well. It ended up twice as long as I thought it would, because I'm doing slab whole block. I really wish we had a single block staircase. I guess we do with the vanilla window bits. I suppose that would work. I know. I guess that's probably what I'll be using. Makes sense. There's a lot of this that is going to be kind of in between episodes. I'll actually come up with the ideas. So we're going to work on kind of figuring out where this whole engine thing stops, and we're probably not going to use this wall in the end anyway, because I want the ship to feel a little more cohesive than this is engine /cargo bay stop. This is this stop. I want it to feel more like a cohesive space. So I don't know what that means in the long run for this ship. I do definitely want to make sure that I have probably, if I do section off, it'll be a bulkhead, not just a doorway. But I got distracted with trying to make an interesting door. So this is what we'll get. Is a weird, interesting door that was actually built off the idea of the Polaris from Star Citizen. I like the Star Citizen ships a lot, I guess, so I put them in a lot of designs. So that's what that is. And I tried to do the thing that I did with the, what is it called, the modular outpost that I did. There's a couple episodes of that on the channel. Make sure to go watch them if you feel so inclined. But it didn't work because I'm using both ends of the wall, and so it just felt odd. And then I tried to just put in faux detail, and I keep getting like distracted with these weird detail bits like the door and the whole back plate. I really didn't need them. Just make a little framework that's I needed. So I actually start trying to do a lot of the bigger swaths of ship. I test out, see if the engines can actually move this entire thing, which they can. I almost hit the ground down block, so yeah, that was fun. Bit of hardtack there. I don't know what I'm going to do for the backwards thrusters. I might do a weird, cheeky kind of make a void in the ship and just put the backwards thrusters in there so you don't actually see them. So something like on the front of, yeah, the thrusters currently are facing to the back. The front is the other side. So put thrusters out the front of these engine modules, quotations, engine modules, and then just hide them with the rest of the ship armor. And that way you don't technically see the retro thrusters, because I really like the look of not having retro thrusters, even though it's more realistic. But if you didn't have retro thrusters, you need to make sure to swing the ship exactly 180 degrees without any pitch or yaw, and it would just be obnoxious. Yeah, so we're definitely gonna have retro thrusters, and we also need all the maneuvering thrusters, which is a lot of design work to go. So we finally get into this nice kind of shape area where we have, like I said, the double trapezoid, but they're kind of different ratios of trapezoid. I don't know if that makes any sense. I tried to do a copy paste trick that didn't work at all, where I just take a 5 block long or 6 block long strip and copy paste. I realized when I started that it made no sense, because one, the targeting was off and it wouldn't mirror over to the other side, which means I'd have to do it twice as much. So I just stopped and went with normal building. It's fine. It ended up being something like 200 blocks long. Note this is small blocks, so it's about 100 meters long, approximately. I didn't make sure to check everything because we're still in concept. So on the little screen left, ship's right, is going to be the cockpit, and then we're going to have this kind of a duckbill. That's what I'm thinking it looks like. It's kind of this duckbill, kind of flat space in the ship. It could very well be crew quarters, including captain's quarters, and seeing how the proximity to the bridge, because the bridge is going to be right there. So this is kind of where my head is. There's not a lot past this type of design. I just go out setting the blocks where I think they should be to achieve the design. I ended up doing this flat in the middle type thing. I really enjoy it. This is where the scaffolding, where I stopped getting frustrated at everything being not detailed. I have a really hard time not detailing something, and it's really weird, at least to me, because I want to build something and complete it and move on to something else and build it and complete it. And that's why I've never finished one of these projects that are this big, because I get hung up in the really small details. Like, I've built a lot of bridges. Not bridges like span and gap bridges, but ship bridges, like where all the people sit and control the ship. And I've gotten some amazing things, and then I go to build, like, the corridor behind the bridge. And it fails me. I'm pretty sure I have that but I'm pretty sure I have that video on the channel too, where I built this wonderful bridge, and it had, like, these nice angled stairs, which I am going to try and replicate in the ship, but it's just blah. Yeah, I had no idea how to build the rest of the ship. So this, I'm starting with the overall kind of arching idea of the ship, starting with the engines, and we're gonna kind of pull in a lot of the different influences of different ships. I thought I just thought if we had a hangar with a couple of snuff fires, like, underneath on one of the sides, maybe under the bridge, and they can fly out under the bridge, so we're standing on the bridge. See, this is the stuff that's gonna happen for this series. So I'm just gonna come up with stuff randomly. It doesn't matter if it's in while playing or while talking out the episode. But we've reached the end of this episode, so I hope you guys have enjoyed it. Make sure to tune in next week for the next episode, and like if you liked the video, and subscribe if you haven't already. But that'll be all. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.